As a result of all this, we've allocated an additional $1,936,763 into various highly suitable equity indexed annuities at his request. Okay, total sales, a bit over $2.2 million. And I could go on with more case studies. But guys and gals, where the real success is in servicing your clients, delivering a high-value client records keeping service through your own internal client suitability and annual review system that is unique to you, the Annual Review Millions way. But let me clarify something here. Don't get the idea that next week you're going to run out with client statements in hand and you're going to do reviews. Let me tell you again from firsthand experience, that don't work. Converting 80 to 90% of your reviews to new sales that way just doesn't work, because what you're doing is not unique. In fact, your client will likely smell a rat, and those kind of reviews just totally flop, as far as my experience is concerned. And as far as delivering a high-value service and new revenue is concerned anyway. So why won't this work? Because you're not delivering anything. You're not delivering anything of unique high value. It is the uniqueness of the Annual Review Millions client records keeping system that your client gets that creates the unique value. See, it's deeper than just reviewing a statement, because the statement comes whether you're there or not, and more than likely has already been reviewed by your client. What you must do is provide unique value, and unique value is what the Annual Review Millions system delivers through the Annual Review Millions client records keeping system. And that's why Annual Review Millions and the client records keeping system that accompanies it was created, and why my reviews result in 80 to 90% sales conversions. Okay, now let me say something very important here. Had I not taken the time to create this, had I not taken the time to create this system that's delivering this unique client records keeping system to my clients, that has become the platform for a highly effective client suitability and client annual review system, had I not taken the time to create and then deliver something of unique value to my clients that's far more than a policy and an annual statement, I'm referring specifically to the Annual Review Millions client records keeping system, I would have made those first few sales. Sure, I would have. Sure, I would have picked up $450,000, and would have never had a shot. Would have never seen the additional $3 million that came in as a result of serving my clients in the way they prefer to be served, the Annual Review Millions way. Would have never seen the $3 million. So if you go off those numbers we just reviewed, and you add them up and divide them by 3 client case studies, then what you come to is a bit over a total of $3.5 million, with over $3 million of it coming in from and through delivering a highly suitable, high-value service to my clients, the Annual Review Millions system, which equates to an average of over $1,174,000 per client in this particular 3 client case study. Now, I really don't want to dwell too much more on these case studies here. I could go on into this and show you much more detail, but I really don't feel the need to, because quite frankly, $3.5 million in proof should be more than enough to convince you that I and the methods I'm about to expose are worth listening to. So, irrespective of how much production I've done, the real question is exactly how did I do it? Well, like I mentioned earlier, this whole system was born as a result of a need for my clients to be able to better manage their various equity indexed annuity assets. I first recognized this need a number of years ago already, and I guess it's been approximately 4 years ago that I began working on the early versions of what was to become the Annual Review Millions system. And so since then, there's been a steady design, implementation, redesign, reimplementation, and redesign and reimplementation of this client records keeping system and the automation software that accompanies it. The original intent of which was to create something of unique value for my clients that would just simplify the management of their financial assets. I had no idea back then that this would grow into that which it is now growing into, and that is a system that can now do for you and your clients what is done for my clients and I. So this has progressively been evolving. Along the way, a number of components have been added that automates much of what is required, such as the Annual Review Millions software program, which is the heart of the entire high-value client records keeping system. The software initially builds and then subsequently updates the client records keeping system, along with a number of other components, such as your own internal, client suitability system, that truly makes this the perfect solution to the client advisor suitability and is a highly effective, highly profitable client annual review system. This was never designed as a sales tool. Again, it was simply designed as a tool that would enable my clients and I to better manage their various equity indexed annuities and other financial assets. However, here's what almost by accident started happening when it was that I would meet with my clients in order to deliver their records keeping system and or update it. We'd review the records keeping system, we'd review the updates, we would review their goals and objectives, and my clients would ask for more highly suitable indexed annuities. See, the value for the client of what this does is it takes, again, intangible financial products and makes them very tangible. It enables the client to stay on top of these assets, to put his hands around them. It allows the client to monitor, to track, and conveniently display every aspect of these assets, including contracts, brochures, statements, and much, much more, including the performance of such, by the client conveniently setting his records keeping system on his kitchen table and going through it. And that makes for a very unique, high-value service experience for you, which makes for a happy client experience for your client, which makes for more highly suitable business. It's taken 4 years of development for this to become the most profitable business component in existence today, with the last 2 years of it being assembled into a very effective system. And it's taken me that long to go from zero back-end client sales to averaging $556,000 per client in highly suitable annuities with the Annual Review Millions system. And all of this comes down to, again, the systems and the methods which I've perfected that are quite unique to me, but once understood are really quite simple and very powerful for the client and very powerful for the advisor. And that is exactly what this system is all about and does for you and your clients by default. And so now, it's your turn. With the Annual Review Millions system, you'll have all of this done right from the beginning without having to take 4 years and spending tens of thousands to figure it out. What this system ends up doing for you is it instantly develops a highly profitable back-end, high-value client service business channel for you, which most of you currently do not have. And without that, you're missing 80 to 90% of what could be. See, the biggest mistake that most advisors make is they don't properly develop or never do develop their back-end business channel, the most profitable part of any business. We're constantly working on new client acquisition. The front-end stuff, which is very costly, and miss out by not delivering high-value service that keeps our existing client relationships warm. What's best about this is there's virtually zero cost to doing Annual Review Millions, unlike the typical front-end marketing stuff like seminars and lead generation and direct mail. Those front-end activities are expensive and often fail. I don't know how many tens of thousands, I've personally flushed down the drain testing various, front-end client acquisition marketing stuff. But here, with this system, there's no marketing. There's no advertising. There's no seminars. There's no lead generation, period. So there's virtually no cost because you'll be working with the best prospects you already have, your clients. However, this will help you on the front end as well. In this suitability-driven regulatory environment, it is extremely important that you have your own in-house client suitability system. And that's where the client suitability module has been built into